Crete, Greece, an island with an extremely interesting ancient history. We are driving from Malia towards Heraklion because not far from Heraklion is the intriguing, almost mystical Elathia cave. Hi,
Hi,
Justyna.
and Kuba.
We are from Poland and we travel around Europe in search of roots of our civilization, of our culture. Now we are in Crete and we are going to very interesting Elathia cave. Under me is Elathia cave. Elathia cave was visited by people from the Neolithic period. In the archaeological museum in Heraklion, you can see findings from this cave. Pottery ranging from the Neolithic to Roman period has been discovered in the cave, with the most significant number of findings from Minoan era. In the times of ancient Greece and Rome, it was a sacred cave dedicated to the goddess of childish Elathia. In Minoan times, when we have unwritten writing, only finds help us, and in the Neolithic it is even more difficult to find what was the function of this cave. Deduction and analogies help us. Here is the fig tree that grows at the entrance to the cave. The symbolism of the fig and the fig tree is highly developed in all cultures that knew the tree and its fruit from direct experience, even in those where fig trees do not grow. For example, in Poland, where the saying figa z makiem, which means fig with poppy seeds, meaning he won't get anything. In Italy, in the 13th century, showing figs was also a mocking symbol of refusal. In literature, Dante, Rabelais, La Fontaine mention this meaning. In Dante's case, it is also a gesture of blasphemy. The fig gesture known from Poland, figa z makiem, you won't get anything. Like an important symbol used by humans, the fig has a double meaning: a blessing, positively associated, and at the same time dangerous, unclean, vulgar. The fig bears fruit 4 times a year, so in many countries it is a symbol of prosperity and fertility, and in many cultures it even represents the tree of life. The symbol of the fig became a wish for good luck in ancient Rome. In ancient Greek mythology, there was a story about Gaia, the goddess of the earth, who, as a result of fight between the gods, took shelter under a fig tree from the lightning of Zeus' anger. That is why it was believed that the fig tree is not struck by lightning. Sorry that I'm reading my notes, but the matter is so interesting that I don't want to miss anything. So, in ancient Greek tradition, the fig was supposed to be the first food of man, and the fact that it was used in sacrifices show its sacredness. Dedicated to Dionysus as the god of fertility, it appeared during the festivals in 2 forms: as a fruit, often accompanied by wine, and as ritual sculptures, phalluses carried in processions made of fig wood. Dionysus planted a fig tree at the entrance to Hades, where it became a source of hope for rebirth. The fig tree, as a symbol of immortality and the rebirth of life, also occurs in other cultures. In the areas covered by Buddhism, the sacred Bodhi tree, the tree of enlightenment, under which Gautama Buddha himself gained enlightenment, is a fig tree, Ficus religiosa. A leaf from this tree is the emblem of Buddha, and the halos of Buddhist enlightened ones and gods are modeled on its shape. In Hinduism, this tree was dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva. Krishna was often depicted as a child lying on a fig tree leaf and thinking about the destruction of the world during our cosmic cycle. And here comes the second dangerous aspect of the fig tree. In India, the fig tree also means a threat. And maybe it's time to mention the obscene meaning of this symbol. For example, in Turkey and Indonesia, in Arab countries, the fig gesture called cookish means sexual exploitation. In Germany, it means the desire to use the service of a prostitute. In Japan and Thailand, it was shown as an offer of a full range of sexual services. In France, it means the same as the middle finger in, for example, our country, in Poland. Where do such sexual association with the fig come from? The three-part fig leaf. This fig is very poor. I hope that it isn't dying, but I don't pick this leaf to show you everything, so only listen. The three-part fig leaf and the white juice flowing from it were a symbol of male genitalia, and the fruit itself of female genitalia. It is wild fig, so the fruit is very small. Figs have white juice, so they are also associated with women's milk and therefore with breasts. Figs in the plural appear in the myth of Artemis, in which this goddess turns it into a tree with many breasts. The fact of dedicating this fruit to female deities can be found in the cult of Egyptian Hathor, as well as in the cult of Artemis or Juno fig in Rome. The wild fig even had its own Roman festival, the None of the Wild Fig, July the 7th, during which ritual fights of women slaves took place. After all, it was believed that in early centuries only women were involved to growing beans and figs. Due to sexual association, the fig has acquired connections with erotism, erotic ecstasy, and licentiousness. As such, it appears in Christian painting, but right next to the fig tree branch, which symbolizes the Lord's cross, immortality and salvation of the soul, and painted above Mary and Joseph with Jesus. It indicates them as the new Adam and Eve who resisted the temptation to eat the forbidden fruit and maintained their innocence. This is due to the persistence in the tradition of some countries in the Christian circle, as well as in the Jewish tradition, of the belief that it was the fig tree, not the apple tree, that was the fruit from the Garden of Eden. Therefore, resting in the shade of the fig tree mentioned in the Old Testament means the same as resting under the lime tree for Poles, a peaceful and safe life. These and other meanings of the fig tree and fig can be found in dictionaries of symbols. In many European paintings, we can also see amulets in the form of the so-called fig gesture. Although this gesture shown in secret, for example, in a pocket, was a defensive gesture against charm or demons, and, in the case of married women, against enchantment. It was used as an amulet, especially in children's clothing. This phenomenon is explained to the need for special protection of children due to their high mortality rate. Michał Januszkiewicz, in the Anthropology of Superstitions, Knock on the Wood, describes its apotropaic and protective functions. A witch cannot do anything bad to a girl who puts on the right corner of her apron and arranges the fingers of her right hand into a fig shape. It is such shape. It's a fig. A fig tree also grew at the entrance to the Skotino cave in eastern Crete. Only the roots remained after it. This fig tree isn't from ancient times, though it's very old. Considering the symbolism of the fig tree, it is very interesting who planted it and why. I think the sacred meaning of this cave, was deeper than fertility issues. Let's enter to the cave and let's see what is inside. The first stalagmite. I think there is no offerings. Maybe one small or maybe not. What happens next? Little wall, maybe little platform, and the wall from ancient times. Someone dug under it. Let's see. Here is, I think, hole. They threw the big boulders to cover it. Another stalagmite near the wall. Oh, here are offerings. Here are contemporary, today's offering. Flowers and maybe it symbolizes offering from the animal. It's second stalagmite from the entrance. Votive offerings. And in the background a low wall with a platform above it and an underpass below it. The hole was dug in modern times and covered with stones. And here is something pink. There is something pink. Let's go near. What is it? A scarf, maybe. Something like this. So, behind the entrance to stalagmites, then a platform. The little wall with the hole dug under it. It once formed a lower platform. And further down, lower, is the third platform, arranged in ancient times. Closer to the main traffic route, a stalagmite with a scarf. The rest of candles, tea lights. We know this cave, and we know that some sacrifices are made here now. We are here the third time, so we know it isn't thrown accidentally. This and those. Let's look around. Maybe something else. Not. And in front of us, the main part, the main historical part of the cave. The main stalagmite, very impressive stalagmite. Are here any offerings? Not. Maybe one small.
What about this?
Ah, yes. Another offering. Some explanation. This stalagmite looks like, what do you think? Looks like what? I think it looks like a phallus, and it's surrounded by a little wall. It's temenos. Such little walls are around sacred spaces. A little branch, small branch. Inside, I think inside is anything, and let's go around. I don't want go into temenos. Some candles, like in Orthodox Church, such candles. They were lit, and let's go around. Oh, impressive. I don't take it in my hand. For the respect of the culture, of the people who lived it here. Sunflowers, a plant, and the vase in the shape of a woman. Pregnant woman. It's from nowadays. It is new. We know because we were here
Years ago.
many times. Okay, let's go to other part of the cave. Looking around. Looking around. Oh, the skull. It's a sheep or goat skull on the stone like an altar. This skull, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, this skull was here, there, inside the temenos. Now they moved it here. Not throw away, moved here. Of course, I don't know what it means, but I'm not from this culture. It's very interesting. And what is here? What is there? It's something there. Another scarf. Let's look around. maybe something more. Not. This scarf isn't by accident. Someone left it intentionally. Maybe something else. I think nothing more. Oh, maybe here. Something else. Scarves. A little scarf and amber. Amber figurine. No shape, no special shape. Amber. And what is it? Mollusk shell. Symbolism of the shells. And a stone. It's not from inside. It's different from stones inside. Maybe something more? Silence, what a silence. Only us and silence. And the main stalagmite with temenos around. Fascinating culture and fascinating finds. And the cave itself is beautiful. Look! That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to not miss other videos and bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.